What's up? We got Arrow, Season 5, Episode 11, Second Chances. This episode starts off 3 years ago where we see a cop named Tina Boland, named Tina, and she's being tortured by these guys, and they have her partner, Vince Soul, who we learn later. But Vince gets shot. Well, Tina gets affected by the particle accelerator, getting a sonic scream, a canary-like cry. So basically, we see Team Arrow, and they're basically, looking up for, who to replace Laurel. And they get, Army, but then Chris notices that Tina using a cry, like a canary cry. So basically, yeah. So they basically try to track down Tina, but they can't. So who do they get? Captain Singh, because Captain Singh's in this episode. A flash reference, because Tina used to work for the Central CCPD. I'm guessing it was before Joe, because when Joe know of her? When Joe know of this character? So Barry he's like, is this a prank? And then, are you legit? And he texts Barry, have a speed cameo to say, oh, he's legit. Why not have Barry in the actual episode? You couldn't have Barry, you couldn't have Barry, show up. You had to have him, speed in to prove it. You couldn't have Barry say, yeah, who are you talking to, Captain? And he's like, some guy. And he's like, yeah, I think that guy's legit. Barry just had to speed in with a sticky note saying that he was. Yeah. Yeah, so they basically, so John, John's still in jail, until Felicity gets a call from a new hacktivist group named Helix, who are basically Felicity's most hacker simps, who basically love Felicity's work and want and give Felicity to resign John. We didn't have already one Felicity in the show. We have a brown-haired version of her. I forget her name. I think they haven't said it yet, but I know it, but I forget it. But still. It's just okay. Yeah, she's basically she's basically brown-haired Felicity, the glasses. She's basically Felicity's simp, because she's basically a Felicity's fan, because she basically... So yeah, she basically works for a hacktivist group called Helix, and Felicity now has everything on John and Walker and everything. 1, how did Helix get this? And 2, how did Helix get this? Those are all my only questions. How did Helix get all this information? So yeah, so they're able to get, with everything they're able to get John. They're able to get John, jail and back with his family, so it's good. Hopefully John Diggle never has to go back to jail again. So anyway, back with the whole Tina stuff. Tina, they basically track her down, and he's like, Tina, and she's basically like, you guys leave me alone, and I'll put your groins in a sling. So she just leaves. Wow. So during that scene, Renee was like, he didn't know that little chick, but you're really going through all this stuff to because Laura was the best character. Why do you have to kill her off, Arrow? You basically are now replacing her with a Laurel sequel. What's a Laurel look like? That's not Laurel. Wow, Arrow. You really done yourself dirty. The season's still great. I'm enjoying it, but I'm just saying, you killed Laurel off just to replace her with Tina Boland. So who's yeah. So anyway, basically Laurel, but not Laurel. So basically they find her in where she's tearing, and she's like, get out. And she's like, get out. And he's like, can't. And she still screams, canary cries them out of there. and kills the guy. Kills the guy. Here's one of the most dumb Oliver moments ever. Oliver looks at the guy, says he's dead. He's like, he's dead. Like, Oliver, this episode, Oliver's really written with idiotic responses. I feel like Oliver turned from a very genius guy to basically a dumb guy. Because last episode, he couldn't figure, when the Black Siren attacked, he said, not their Laurel. Like, he couldn't figure out like that it's not their Laurel. Now this episode, when he sees the guy died right in front of him, he has to tell the audience that the guy's dead. Even though he saw a guy die right in front of them. Like, how could that guy survive a canary blast in the face? Like, how? Oliver, your writing is really not that smart. So basically he's using a new and improved sonic dampener, and he's like, hey, and he's like, I lost people too, and you lost your partner, and yeah. So she basically is like sonic, and she basically sonic screams to the ground and basically just leaves. So yeah, so they're basically able to find her and then recruit. So yeah, so she basically reveals that her name isn't really Tina, it's Dinah Drake. Basically Laurel 2.0, but not Laurel at all. Because they basically had the same last name, and Oliver just tell us that they had the same last name by saying he had a friend named Dinah, and she's like, what did she think of all this? And that's where the episode ends. So, what did I think of this episode? Actually, also, forgot to mention. Yeah, so basically they work together. So they work together before this. They work together and they find the bad guy who killed Tina. I'm gonna call her Tina because we didn't know her name. Tina's partner, and then he basically reveals that he's the same power as the Top from the Flash. And Oliver's trying to talk Tina out of killing him, but good for her that she does it anyway. Glad, because Oliver told him like it's kind of boring, but that doesn't mean that he can't talk. I mean, that doesn't mean that other people can't. So that's the end of the episode. But as I said, Dinah Drake is basically Laurel, as I've heard. Laurel 2.0, but not Laurel, because they're like, oh yeah, we have a Laurel character, we're going to kill her off, then we're going to introduce a character with the exact same abilities as Black Siren, but she has the same name as Laurel, and it's everyone's sometimes annoying but beloved character. I don't get it. Yeah, I also didn't get how the boss guy had the exact same powers as Rosa Dillon from The Flash. Yeah, he basically had the exact same powers as her, basically toppling Vertigo. Maybe it should be Top 2.0, but too bad he's dead. But Top 2.0 will be his name, because basically Top 2.0, as Dinah is basically Laurel 2.0. Come on, right? You're doing really well with your characters. Now you're just making up 2.0s of other characters. Dinah Laurel Lance, guy with the same powers as Rosa Dillon from The Flash. So, I gotta say it. This episode isn't half bad. I'm just saying that Dinah Drake is her name, and they basically make a Laurel reference by saying, what would Laurel think of all this? And then that's just basically how the episode ends. And now Dinah's basically Team Arrow now. Even though we didn't see her join the team, she's just like, yeah. And Thea's now, so, yeah. Thea's also gone now. Will Holland is not in the show for the first half of the second half of the season. I don't know where she is. Where's Thea? I think last episode said she was at some conference, or I don't know. I'm just saying, the whole Dinah's an okay character for the first episode. Like, it's kind of interesting that she was given her power by the particle accelerator, just like Black Saturn, but instead of using her powers for evil, she instead of using them for good by trying to avenge the death of her partner, Vincent Sobel. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. So I just don't get it. Why name her? Is Dinah, like, I know Dinah Lance is a character in the show, in the comics, as the daughter of Laurel, but why name this character Drake? Why not make her Dinah Lance? Why not make her like a cousin of Laurel that Laurel never knew about? Like, why not make her a cousin of Laurel that Laurel never knew about, that got the exact same powers as Black Saturn, but Laurel never knew about her, neither did anyone else. Just like Courtney from Pretty Little Liars. No one knew about her, but she was really Allison for part of the last books. But anyway, why not make Dinah Lance? Is Dinah Drake even a character? Please tell me in the comments if Dinah Drake is even a character. Because they could just name her, because as I said before, Dinah Drake is an okay name and an okay character. But I'm saying they could have made her a secret cousin of Laurel that Laurel never knew about. Because Laurel was basically Dinah Lance. Dinah Lance was Laurel's mom's name. They took Laurel. Dinah Drake, I think Dinah Drake was the daughter. The Black Canary was the daughter of Dinah Lance. Dinah Lance was the daughter of Laurel or something. I kind of don't read comic, but I know that. But anyway, that was it. That was still a pretty good episode. It was cool seeing Captain sing, even though it was cool seeing Captain sing in it. He was a pretty cool character. Like, they could have brought in Barry or anyone, but he could call Barry and said, but of course he would call Captain Singh. Captain Singh would be the only one to know the records of Tina/Dinah. Also, she and her partner were lovers because, yeah, that's what we want in our show. Lovers. Why couldn't they make this Dinah Lance and make her be in love with Oliver? That would have been more, like, that would have been, I like how Curtis does make a Dinah saying just give her a suit and a blonde wig, and then you got Laurel, that's kind of Black Canary. That's kind of a good reference. But anyway, that was it for this video, and I'll see you next time for more Arrow. Next time better be a good episode. I'll see you next time for season 5. Yeah, I like Dinah Drake. Just saying. Tell me in the comments, is Dinah Drake basically Laurel 2.0 but without the Laurel? Tell me. I have fun writing in the comments below. And I'll see you next time for more Arrow. Arrow time.